Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Look at your hands. Your fist all balled up. These producers want to put money in it, but you keep your hands all tight like this, and you're blowing it. Words spoken to Terrence Howard by Denzel Washington, from one great actor to the next. I ain't got no problem with that. That is sage advice coming from a guy who's already done it. He's been there, done that. He did, and he has gone to where Terrence is trying to go to. He's trying to reach the level that Denzel has reached, so Denzel can speak to these things about Hollywood and how to navigate through that wild, crazy world. Terrence was speaking about his experience in Hollywood, and he talked about how he threatened to punch a Hollywood producer. In fact, here's the story right here. Let me grab it. Where is it? Here's the story. So the story goes, hindsight is 2020 for Terrence Howard, because he's looking back at the time he lost out on a massive Marvel payday because he threatened to knock the teeth out of a big-time producer. Howard dished all on the PBD podcast, saying the drama started during the promo run for the film The Brave One, when he confronted producer Joel Silver over why his name wasn't billed above the title alongside Jodie Foster. Joel told him it was because TH had a supporting role. An explanation, Terrence says he understood, but he still reacted aggressively. According to Howard, his temper flared, and he warned Silver that if he ever spoke to him like that again, he'd knock his teeth out. Yikes. A few months later, Howard lost his role as James Rhodey Rhodes in the Marvel franchise and was replaced by Don Cheadle in Iron Man 2. He pointed out Silver's producing partner was Susan Downey, who was involved with the Iron Man's film. So yeah, looks like the word about his anger got around. Terrence said Denzel Washington later told him he was blowing it for himself. So I can absolutely respect Denzel giving Terrence the game, because a lot of cats, they won't tell you what's up. They'll just let you go out there and crash out, and they'll talk about it behind your back. I can absolutely relate to Terrence's aggression, because sometimes these people try to play you. It looks like Terrence played himself in that situation, but oftentimes you're so used to fighting, you don't know how to pick your battles. You know what I'm saying, fam? Anybody out there like that? Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Sometimes you're just so used to fighting that you don't know how to pick your battles, and you don't know sometimes when people are actually on your team. This guy's a producer on the show. It's not really a wise thing to threaten a producer unless, well, it's not really wise, but you might be able to get away with it if you're the big time star of the show and you're doing a movie, if you're doing a film where you think that you can't be replaced. Very seldom does that happen, because almost anybody can be replaced. They don't want to replace you, especially if they spend a certain amount of money. If they're like already deep into production, let's say they're, 60% done with production, or they're already 40% in or something, and you start tripping, now they just want to try to get you through, and they may even dial back some of your scenes, some of your screen time. But they just trying to get through it at that point. But believe you me, once you become a problem, the writing is on the wall and your days are numbered. And they will, even if you get some action, you won't get as much action as you probably could have gotten. Family, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. My reputation was so bad, the hothead reputation was so bad that I was in a grocery store once. I'll go ahead and tell you, Walmart. Anyway, fam, I'm in Walmart, and there's a guy standing in line in front of me, and he's checking out. His woman is with him. I don't know if it's his wife, girlfriend, whatever, but the woman is with him. And the cashier greets me, and I speak back, and he turned around, he's like, Willie D, man, I know that voice from anywhere, man. Man, what's up? He going, he's fanning out a little bit. And his woman is like kind of looking a little bewildered. And he's like, baby, that's Willie D, ghetto boys, the mean one. Family. This dude called me the mean one in the group. I'm saying to myself, whoa, that's wild. He said he's the mean one in the group. Now, I had to think about that because when I'm making music, it's one thing. But in my personal life, I'm really a good guy, right? Good guy, great. In fact, great guy. I'm a great guy in person. However, in public, I have been known to bust heads. I have jumped off stages. I have knocked out sound men. I have had to handle janky promoters, all that stuff. And so I had a reputation for that. But I always thought that when I did those things that I was justified because somebody had violated, right? I'm thinking they violate, my actions are justified, no matter how aggressive they are. It's justified. And I thought that people should respect that. I thought people would respect that, because I'm not just a hothead running around just starting trouble with people. It's people coming to me with trouble and I'm obliging, I'm not trying to duck the trouble. I'm not trying to duck no smoke. I'm walking right toward the smoke, not understanding that this is going to cost me, and this is actually costing me, even within on my own record label, it was costing me. And I just had that attitude, man, like, ain't nobody finna get over on nothing. Ain't nobody finna do this, do woo-woo. But not understanding that it wasn't really about what was happening. It was about how I was reacting, how I chose to react to what was happening. See, it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. You think Denzel ain't been through some situations where he wanted to tell a producer, I'll knock your teeth out your mouth? You know what I'm saying? And maybe he did tell a producer that before, but I bet you that producer didn't have no power. And I bet you it wasn't, Denzel didn't put himself in a position. Denzel didn't put himself in a position where it could, harm his reputation in Hollywood, right? As far as we know, Denzel's reputation in Hollywood is stellar. You never hear about Denzel caught up in any scandalous stuff, He's been solid for a long time. And I think Denzel had more pressure than most people in Hollywood, especially black males in Hollywood, because Denzel is the standard. And so too much is given, much is required. Denzel mess up, then it's gonna be a reflection of all the black actors and male actors in Hollywood. So Denzel has had a lot on his plate, and he has had to shoulder a lot of burden for those who have come after him. So if Denzel give you some information, it's probably a good idea that you at least take heed, at least listen and think about it. And after that, you still want to make that decision, go ahead. But I realized that it took me a while, but I realized that you get more bees with honey than you do vinegar. I realized that you don't have to fight every battle. As long as you win the war, that's what's important. Win the war. All the little battles ain't all that important. You don't have to fight every battle. I learned that pride can get you shot in the guts. Pride can cause you to lose your family. Pride can have you put in the cemetery, laying up in a morgue with a wire cut in your chest, doing 20, 30 years in prison. That pride, see? So once I learned the art of conflict resolution, I learned how to avoid certain things altogether. I mean, not even put myself in a position, And then in other cases, I learned how to deal with certain things and still get the outcome that I wanted. I just had to change my method. And I don't know if Terrence has learned that, but I do know that some of us never get it. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.